Hello, MUTA members and community members. This is Tuti again from MUTA. Hi. I went to a board meeting on Tuesday. I don't normally go to board meetings because I don't like them. They're long and kind of boring. But I went to a board meeting to show support for someone. And it started off bad, right? The agenda says that they're going to come in at 6:30. Some of them strolled in at 6:30, 6:40. Someone strolled in at 7 something. I had a couple of community members come up to me and say, hey, isn't it supposed to start at 6:30? And I'm like, yeah, well, you know. And so the meeting started a little bit after 7:30, which it is what it is, right? So we're going through the meeting, and our superintendent, hi Todd, he gives a negotiations update, which the public absolutely needs to know. We're at an impasse. We gave our last best. They gave their last best. And so we are where we are. So he gives that update, and then he starts going through a list of things. So I started giggling, and I wanted to make a reaction video, but I wanted to make sure that I was accurate because it really is important to be accurate. So I waited until the district put out the video so that I could actually take notes on what was said. So he talked about public release of information, and that's how we're going with the negotiations. Then he began talking about changes or things that the district has added in terms of personnel, MUTA member personnel, in the last few years, and the cost associated with those things. I'm not saying whether those things are good or bad. Some of the things I've really enjoyed. Some of the things I've thought were very, very valuable. But it came across to me, this is my interpretation of what he was saying, was that these are the positions we've created for you. This is the amount of money these things that we're doing for you cost us, the district. And it's a lot of money that we are putting forth for you MUTA members. And he went down the list. So I'm going to read the list for you. He said there were 64 members hired as specials for elementary so they could have prep, 27 MUTA members for 7th period day at secondary, 266 SAP stipends, 2,077 grad profile stipends or pay, 37 DACs, and 21 TSMs. Remember, and I think he said between 2021 and 2025. So I'm going through this list of things that he's done for us that cost the district money. And we didn't ask for these things. Regardless of whether the things were valuable for the students or not, these are district initiatives. You guys, they sat in a room and decided we're going to do these things for the district, for the kids. Let's say for the kids. Absolutely. Like I said, none of these things are invaluable. They weren't what we asked for. They were never what we asked for. We as in MUTA had to have several different meetings in several different communities on the 7th day period for secondary. There was a lot of discussion over whether or not the teachers wanted this. No, not even whether they wanted it, whether they were willing to do it, because it was a change in their job description, change in their work environment. This is not something they asked for. This is something that was done to them. The grad profile was not something that we asked for. It's something that you decided was an important initiative, and you did it to us. We had absolutely no choice in it. The TSM's great program. I'm a TSM. I think it's very valuable. Heck, I'm a TSM. The DACs, they do training. They help the teachers learn more. Absolutely. I like the program. But again, we didn't ask for it. You wanted it. And the SAP, again, this is an initiative that you put forth. The only thing on the list that I could think of that we actually asked for was the specials, because and we didn't ask for the specials. The elementary school teachers asked for prep. We wanted some time to prep for our 6.5-hour day. We are with our kids for a lot of time. We teach a lot of subjects, and we asked for time to prep for that teaching. Secondary's always gotten time. Elementary asked for time. That time came in the version of specials, electives for elementary. It's nice. It's cool. Not electives, because they don't get to choose them. They have them all. But we didn't ask for it. So you can't say, look what we did for you. We created all of these jobs, and they cost all of this money, and we brought all of these people in the district, and it's taken a toll on us money-wise, when there were things you wanted to do. You can't blame us for taking all of this money and using all of this money to do things that you wanted to do. Okay? So that's the first thing. That's where the giggle came from, because it was like, come on, man. It's like the Me Too clause. When we go into negotiations, the district always says, well, if we give it to the teachers, counselors, psychs, and nurses who are the MUTA, if we give it to the MUTA union, we have to give it to the other unions because they have a Me Too clause. So if you get it, they get it. So we can't give it to you. We can't afford to give it to you because then everyone gets it. They have their own union. I'm not negotiating for their union. I negotiate for MUTA, my union. That is who I represent. So you saying we can't afford to give it to you because we have to give it to everyone, when you choose to leave that in their contract, that's not on me. That's on you. If you don't want to give it to everyone, then take it out of their contract. That's negotiations. Either way, it's not on me if you choose to pay everyone what we get. Same thing if you choose to have all of these district initiatives and they come with a cost. You can't blame me for your district initiatives. Okay. Also, so in the same meeting, and I'm so glad I got the video because I didn't stay for the meeting. I was laughing and it was disrespectful. And I don't want to be disrespectful, right? So I left. I got a family. So I watched the video, and then I noticed that that there was a financial part after it already left. And so I hadn't seen it. So I watched it and I took some more notes. Okay. So, one of the quotes that I wrote down, because I thought was very important, said, the board has been very careful in spending the school money. I thought that was very important, because I'm not sure that I agree with that. I think a more accurate quote would be, a more accurate statement would be, the board has been very careful in spending money on things that they want and not necessarily the staff, or at least MUTA staff, or, the students, since we're in the deficit. Okay, so then they went over the 55% rule. I've talked about that a couple of times, and our CFO did a presentation, and they have modified the waiver because evidently, they were doing the money wrong in somehow, and so they had to phone a friend and be like, hey girl, how are you doing the money? Because your numbers are coming out right and my numbers are coming out wrong, and I need some help. And so they got some help from someone, which is nice that our money person got some money help from some other money people. Okay, so she goes through the waiver and explains how it was wrong, and it was because there was some information that she did not have. And evidently, the last superintendent of schools also didn't have, because they've been doing this form wrong for years. And they've only discovered their inconsistencies or inaccuracies because we pointed them out. So now that we are concerned about the money not going into the classroom like it's supposed to be, now they want to check their numbers. They didn't need to check the numbers when they were not spending tens of millions of dollars in the classroom. That didn't concern them. They didn't need to check their numbers last year or the year before that or the year before that or the year before that, when they were deficit spending in the class for years. Now that we've called it out, and we are concerned about our students not getting not only what they deserve, what they're supposed to have, the resources that they are legally supposed to have in their class. Now that we're calling that out, now they need to look at the numbers. Okay, so then she talks about the different things she did on the waiver, how she changed it, how she adjusted it. And then she says, if we add in the longevity, after we hit 14 years, if you've worked in Madera Unified for that time. So this is not something that everyone gets. It's after you've worked in the district for a certain amount of time, you get extra money. It's kind of like loyalty money on your pay scale. So if we give that, if we say everyone gets that, then they're actually making this much. And then she said, they've got really good insurance. And not all the schools, not all the districts have really good insurance, like our insurance. So some of the other districts have to pay out of their pocket. And we had one that we didn't have to pay out of our pocket. We don't anymore, but we used to. So if we add that money, then that's even more money that the teachers get. Because come on, man. Then they were like, if they last year would have gotten the raise that we just now offered this month, then this is where they would have been. Go on. Really? Seriously? And then it was hilarious, because then like one of the trustees was like, so what you're saying is if they would have accepted this amount, then they would have made more? The amount that you didn't even offer them when this form pertained to the money? And then another board member was like, oh, that's very interesting. So our members get money that's not even on their pay scale? Wow. It was like they talked about it or something. Oh, and then you say this. Oh, and I'll say this. And then you're the CFO. You say, yes, that's correct. It was cute. Okay. So anyway, I'm serious again. And then, so they do the whole thing. The CFO does the whole thing. And then, Todd says, I'm glad you cleared this up. This is not a quote. This is my interpretation. I'm glad you cleared this up because it's been very concerning and there's a lot of information out there. And I want to make sure that everyone knows that, that you have a level of scrutiny and honesty about your job, that you really pay attention to these things to make sure that they're right. And there's a lot of pressures associated with this job. I'm going to say, and I've said it before, I've said it to the people in that room, I don't math well. I absolutely do not. I could not do the books. It is not in my wheelhouse. It's not the way my brain works. But you having a level of scrutiny comes into play with your job before I pointed out, not after I pointed out. Also, they said that they were misguided by McSauce. They totally threw McSauce under the bus. Finally, it was disturbing to me that they didn't talk about the kids. I feel like all I do is talk about the kids because that's the job. Even if it was a simple money mistake and they didn't look for it because they didn't know to look for it. Okay, sure. You still spent almost $10 million less than you were supposed to for the kids. You might not have been able to give me a raise, but you could have hired more people in the classroom to take away some teacher stress, to individualize some of the student learning. For the kids, right? And as far as the Me Too clause, equity, not equality, right? We're not equal. We don't do the same job. You're not vacant 40 admin jobs. You're not even vacant 40 para jobs. You're vacant 40 MUTA jobs. And MUTA members work directly with the students, interact directly with students. Those jobs need to be filled. The kids need to have teachers. And almost half of those jobs are our neediest kids. They need teachers. Students, right? That's what you always make commercials about. The students.